Guys, I have to share something with you that's going to leave the entire Denver Broncos family completely blown away. What just came out about J.K. Dobbins is no joke, no exaggeration. It's something that could completely change our team's future in 2025. And the person talking isn't me. It's none other than Evan Engram, our Pro Bowl tight end, who just made a statement that's putting everyone on high alert. But before I reveal exactly what Engram said about Dobbins, let me ask you a direct question. Do we really understand the impact this signing could have? Are you prepared to discover why the players on our roster are so excited about what they've seen in practice? Because what I'm about to tell you will show that maybe we made the signing of the century. And look, family, before I continue, let me be crystal clear. What you're going to hear in this video isn't my speculation, isn't fan theory. It's direct information coming from inside the roster. These are words from someone who's seeing Dobbins work every day, from someone who knows what it takes to win in this league. So hold tight, because this ride is going to be intense. Folks, let's start with the complete context of this whole situation, because to understand the magnitude of what's happening, you need to know exactly where we came from and where we're headed. The 2024 Denver Broncos were a massive surprise for everyone. Nobody expected us to make the playoffs with Bo Nix being a rookie, with a defense in rebuilding mode, with an offense that was still finding its identity. It was a year that showed. When Broncos Country believes, things happen. The energy from the stands, the unconditional support, the faith even when everything seemed impossible. Sure, we took that beating from the Bills in the wild card. Nobody's going to forget that game. But that only served to show us where we needed to improve. And one of the most obvious areas was the running game. Throughout the entire 2024 season, it became clear we needed a running back who could carry the heavy load, someone who could take some pressure off Bo Nix, who could open up the field for the passing game, and it was exactly with this in mind that the organization went after J.K. Dobbins. But let me explain why this wasn't just any ordinary signing. Now, let me explain something very important here, because there are many people who still don't understand who J.K. Dobbins really is. This guy isn't just any running back who was available on the market. Dobbins isn't a player who was looking for an opportunity because he couldn't stand out anywhere else. Quite the contrary. This guy was coming off a season with 905 yards and 9 touchdowns for the Chargers. Almost 1,000 yards, family, and that's running behind an offensive line that wasn't even close to being the best in the league. 9 rushing touchdowns in a season is elite running back stuff. That's production from a player who makes a real difference in games. But there's a detail in this equation that makes everything even more impressive. Those numbers I just mentioned came after Dobbins missed practically the entire 2023 season due to an Achilles injury. Can you imagine what that means? An Achilles injury is one of the most devastating injuries a running back can suffer. It's the type of injury that ends careers, that completely changes a player's movement dynamics. Many never return to their previous level. Others come back, but as a shadow of what they once were. Dobbins not only came back, but had one of the best seasons of his career. Can you imagine the mentality this guy must have? To suffer an injury like that, which destroys many players' careers, to stay away from the field for an entire year, to go through months of rehabilitation, to deal with the uncertainty of never being the same player again, and then come back and produce almost 1,000 yards. That's not just physical talent, that's mental strength, pure determination. It's the type of character you want in your locker room. And now this warrior is on our side. But here comes the part that's really driving everyone crazy, the part that motivated this entire video. Evan Engram, who isn't just anyone, and I'll explain why in a minute, just made a statement about Dobbins that's reverberating everywhere. But before talking about what Engram said, let me contextualize who Evan Engram is for those who don't know him thoroughly. The guy is Pro Bowl, a tight end who's proven his worth in the league for years. Engram isn't a player who arrived yesterday. He's not someone who talks just to talk. He knows football like few others. He's played with and against some of the best players in the league. When a guy of this caliber talks about a teammate, especially about a newcomer, those words carry weight. Engram has seen many good players, has shared locker rooms with stars, already knows how to identify who has what it takes to make a difference in this league. So when he speaks, Broncos Country needs to pay attention. And what did Engram say? About Dobbins? He was categorical. J.K. is going to provide tremendous help to the team, but he didn't stop there. Engram highlighted that Dobbins is extremely vocal, a natural leader who brings contagious energy to the group. And you know what else impressed our Pro Bowl tight end? The field vision that Dobbins has demonstrated in practice. Guys, when a Pro Bowl tight end talks about a running back's vision, it's because he really saw something special. Engram works directly with running backs on screen plays, in checkdown situations, in blocking schemes. He knows exactly what to look for in an elite running back. And when he says he was impressed with Dobbins' vision, it's because something different really happened in practice. Now, let me explain why this statement is so significant, why this could completely change the course of our 2025 season. When you have a running back with sharp vision, we're not just talking about someone who's going to gain yards on the ground running straight ahead. We're talking about someone who's going to identify gaps that others don't see, who's going to know exactly when to cut inside, when to take it outside, when to hold behind the line, waiting for the hole to open up. This field vision translates to efficiency. It translates to more yards per carry, fewer negative plays, converted third downs. And when you have an efficient running back, that automatically forces opposing defenses to respect the ground game, and that opens up much more space for Bo Nix in the passing game. Talk to us, Broncos Country. Can you visualize what this means for our offense in 2025? A Bo Nix who doesn't need to carry the team on his back because he has a reliable running back behind him? The possibilities are endless. Bo can focus on being the distributor, on finding receivers with perfect timing without the constant pressure of having to make miraculous plays. And there's another aspect that might be even more important, the psychological impact. When defenses know they have to respect the running game, they can't just think about coverage anymore. They have to put an extra safety in the box. They have to adjust the linebackers. They have to divide their attention. And that creates huge opportunities in the passing game. Imagine Jerry Jeudy running routes, knowing the safety can't give help over the top because he's worried about run fit. Imagine Courtland Sutton in one-on-one situations because the defense can't afford double coverage. Imagine the play-action possibilities with a running back that defenses actually respect. And there's another crucial detail in this whole equation that I need to highlight. Dobbins didn't come to Denver just to be another guy. The man arrived with a prove-it mentality. He left the Chargers being one of the main names in their backfield, but everyone knows Los Angeles has a roster loaded with talent. There he shared attention with many other playmakers. Here in Denver, Dobbins has the opportunity to be the guy in the backfield. Sure, he'll split carries with R.J. Harvey, but he knows he can be the feature back, the guy who gets 15, 20 touches per game when necessary. This opportunity for protagonism is exactly what some players need to elevate their game to the next level. And this hunger to prove his own worth, this motivation to show he can be even better, is exactly what our family needs. Dobbins arrived knowing he has everything it takes to be a fundamental piece in our offensive puzzle, and when a player arrives with that mentality, good things usually happen. If you're true Broncos Country, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any play from this season that promises to be historic. And turn on notifications because I'll be bringing all the news about our team throughout the entire season. But let me talk about something you might not have thought about yet, a tactical aspect that could be revolutionary for our offense. Dobbins won't be playing alone in the backfield. He's going to form a duo with R.J. Harvey, and this could be the perfect combination to confuse opposing defenses throughout the entire season. Imagine having two running backs with completely different styles. Dobbins with his sharp vision, his experience, his ability to find the tightest gaps. Harvey with his speed, his explosiveness, his capacity for breakaway runs. Defense will have to prepare for two completely different types of ground threats. This means we can use different personnel packages depending on the situation. We can put Dobbins in short yardage situations where we need someone reliable to convert third and short. We can use Harvey in situations where we want to stretch the field horizontally. We can even use both simultaneously in some special formations. And there's another huge benefit to this rotation: fresh legs throughout the entire season. Running back is the position that suffers the most wear and tear during a season. Having two guys capable of carrying the load means we reach the playoffs with rested players, ready for intense battles. And you know what's the best part of all this? We might be looking at the biggest bargain in free agency. While other teams spent fortunes on famous names, some who weren't even producing that much, Denver went and brought a guy who could yield much more than he cost. Dobbins arrived motivated, arrived hungry for victory, and arrived at the perfect moment in his career. He's at the ideal age for a running back, has enough experience to handle pressure, but still has fresh legs to endure an entire season of heavy work. The leadership issue that Ingram mentioned is also fundamental, and I need to give proper attention to this aspect. The guy specifically said that Dobbins is vocal, that he brings positive energy to the group. That's no small thing, family. In fact, this could be as important as statistical production when you have veterans on the roster who assume this leadership posture, especially players who have gone through adversities like Dobbins has. It elevates the level of everyone around them. The guy knows what it's like to suffer, knows what it's like to get up after a fall, knows what it takes to win when everything seems impossible. This type of leadership is contagious. When younger players see someone who's been through so much, maintaining a positive attitude, working hard every day, taking responsibility for the group's success, they automatically get inspired to do the same. And we're not just talking about vocal leadership, we're talking about leadership by example. Dobbins is going to show everyone on the roster how to work, how to prepare, how to stay focused even when things get difficult. And let's be realistic here, family. The running game has always been a fundamental piece in the best moments of our franchise. When we had the most victorious campaigns, we always had a solid ground attack. We always had someone capable of controlling the clock, of moving the chains on third and short, of keeping the defense rested. Terrell Davis in the championship. Years, Clinton Portis in the following years, even some periods with other running backs who managed to give stability to the offense. When we had a solid ground game, everything flowed better. The defense rested more because we controlled possession, time management was better, and quarterbacks had many more options to work with. Now, with Dobbins showing this impressive vision, in practice, the tendency is for him to identify opportunities that will maximize every down he receives. And look, when a guy comes back from a serious injury like he did, producing the way he produced, it's because he has a determination that few players possess. This mental toughness that he developed, dealing with rehabilitation, with uncertainty, with the pressure to prove he could still play at the highest level, this translates into field performance. It translates into a never-give-up attitude, into extra effort to get that crucial yard, into composure in pressure situations. The truth is that Dobbins could be exactly the piece that was missing from our offensive puzzle. Bo Nix proved he has potential. Our receivers are competent and talented. The offensive line improved significantly during the offseason, and now with a running back who brings this winning mentality, the possibilities are really enormous. And there's something I need to highlight, because this shows the level of professionalism that Dobbins brings. The confidence that Ingram demonstrated isn't common. The guy could have given a diplomatic answer, said that Dobbins is a good player, that he's adapting well, and that's it. But that's not what happened. Ingram was specific, was detailed, talked about leadership, about energy, about field vision. He used words like huge help, highlighted specific characteristics he observed in practice. This shows he really saw something special, something that truly impressed him. And when a player with Engram's experience gets impressed, it's because he really saw something different. The guy has already shared the field with running backs of all types, has seen talents. Emerging has seen veterans at the end of their careers. He knows exactly what to look for. And when he speaks this way, it's because he identified something genuinely exceptional. Think with me. If Dobbins can replicate or even surpass the numbers he put up for the Chargers, and all indications suggest this is possible, we're talking about a running back with over 900 yards in a season. In an offense that already showed potential in 2024, this could be the difference between making the playoffs and actually competing for the AFC title. Because it's one thing to make the playoffs as a wild card and hope to get lucky. It's something completely different to make the playoffs with a balanced offense, capable of winning in different ways, capable of controlling the game when necessary. And a reliable running game is fundamental for that second scenario. And the experience factor also counts a lot, especially when we talk about playoffs. Dobbins has already played in important games, has faced pressure, has gone through difficult moments and bounced back. He knows what it's like to play when every snap matters, when every yard is crucial. This baggage is fundamental in a league where mental pressure makes as much difference as physical ability. In the playoffs, when games get more intense, when every mistake is amplified, having players who have been through this before makes a huge difference. Talk to us in the comments, Denver Broncos family. Do you think Dobbins could really be the X factor for our offense in 2025? Because after this statement from Engram, after analyzing everything this guy brings to the table, I'm starting to believe we might have made a truly historic signing. And there's another aspect I think is fundamental to highlight, the timing of this signing. Dobbins arrived at the perfect moment of our rebuilding. Bo Nix already had a year to get used to the system, to the speed of the league, to the pressure of being a starting quarterback in Denver. Now he's going to have a reliable running back alongside him from training camp. This means chemistry, means timing, means they're going to develop that natural connection between quarterback and running back that's so important in critical situations. When Bo needs a safety valve, he'll know he can count on Dobbins. When we need to convert third and medium with a draw play, he'll know exactly how Dobbins is going to attack the defense. The truth is that when players of Engram's caliber speak this way about a teammate, it's usually because they saw something that really impresses. And if Dobbins continues evolving at the pace he's demonstrated in practice, if he continues showing this field vision that so impressed our Pro Bowl tight end, Broncos Country might be preparing celebrations for a truly epic season. The coolest part of all this is seeing how the roster chemistry is forming. When you have experienced players praising newcomers this way, it's a sign that the locker room is united, focused on the same goal. Everyone buying the same vision, everyone working in the same direction, and that family is the type of environment that generates special campaigns. It's the type of chemistry that transforms groups of talented players into true teams. It's the difference between having potential and actually realizing that potential. Dobbins arrived and immediately gained the respect of his teammates, not just for what he does on the field, but for how he behaves, for the energy he brings, for the leadership he demonstrates. This is fundamental for building team culture, for creating a winning mentality. And look, I know some of you might be thinking, aren't we exaggerating? Aren't we creating expectations that are too high? And I understand that concern. We've been through disappointments before. We've seen signings that seemed promising and didn't work out. But there's a fundamental difference here. Dobbins isn't a gamble, isn't a lottery ticket. The guy has already proven he can produce at the highest level, already showed he can recover from adversities, already demonstrated he has the character necessary to be successful in this league. And more importantly, he's not arriving as the savior, as the guy who's going to solve all problems alone. He's arriving as an important piece of a bigger puzzle. as part of a well-structured plan for building sustainable success. So what do you think, Broncos Country? After everything I've told you, after analyzing every aspect of this situation, what do you think? Can Dobbins really be the solution we needed for the running game? Can he be the catalyst to unleash the full potential of our offense? I believe so. I believe we're looking at something special. I believe Ingram saw in practice exactly what all of us hope to see in games: a complete running back, experienced, motivated, and ready to make a difference. Comment below with your opinion. Tell us what you expect to see from Dobbins this season. Hit the like button if you also believe 2025 could be our year, that we can finally put together all the pieces and make a real playoff run. Share this with all your Denver Broncos family friends, because this conversation needs to reach everyone who bleeds orange and blue. And stay tuned to the channel, because I'll be bringing every single update, every development, every piece of news about our team throughout this entire season that promises to be absolutely incredible. Broncos Country, let's ride. And until the next video with more news from our Denver Broncos.